Ooh, I tell her get low, gon' rock with me. You gon' mess around now and get a shopping spree. I'm now in your possession like apostrophe. Ooh, enough with all the talking, I just told her say less and do more, do more, do more, do more. Ooh, I tell her do more, do more, do more, do more. Go ahead, set the mood right, dirty like a food fight. You been working all day, load it up in 2 nights. Do more, do more, do more, do more. Ooh, I tell her, yeah. And she gon' work that round. I'ma mess around and drown when she drop that down. No more phone be blowing up, I like not right now. Oh, I swear that she in next the way she work that mouth. Whoa, automatic cause she move, she be cousin static. I be straight up like an addict, might be coming at it. Now I gotta have it, had enough with all the moves, yeah, move here. Ooh, let me grab it now, I'm on 1 year. Now I'm not done yet, told her wait right here. I'll be back one sec, this is just time out, this is not no way. Go and grab that friend, and you know what's next, stay. You been rockin' with an all-star, baby, and I know you coming early like a five-star, baby. Packing out the seat, this ain't no hostile, baby, and they know me in the city like a mob star. I tell her get low, gon' rock with me. You gon' mess around now and get a shopping spree. I'm now in your possession like apostrophe. Oh, enough with all the talking, I just told her say less and do more, do more, do more, do more. Oh, I tell her do more, do more, do more, do more. Go ahead, set the mood right, dirty like a food fight. You been working all day, load it up in 2 nights. Do more, do more, do more, do more. Oh, I tell her, yeah. Work that mouth.
Coach, what's next for me, Joe? I'm gonna get that second bell. Where the is it? They should have had them 2 bells ready. Spit shine for me.
Yeah. Head up in the clouds, though they saying I look stressed. I've been feeling down, pray to God that I'm up next. Remember when she blew me off, that's why I can't text. Now she call me petty, but I swear I can't forget. This ain't a test. Now they saying that I ball like Jerry West. Coming back for what is mine, can't take no less. I said go and take a shot, so I need your best. And stop the threats, don't know what is in me. I don't got time, I'm not giving the energy. Too many people around me, I'm finicky. I do not mess with you, dog, you're not kidding me. You don't got way too close, I been up at the top now, so they all wait for the landslide. I seen too many people that switched up, whose man's high. Through it all, I stay the same, I swear to God, I can't lie. Been down so damn low that I came up for my life. They talk way too much on the internet, it's not real life. I swear my fam waiting, I can't lose, and I'm still right. Still right, I swear that I'm working them up till like midnight. It's real life, I got a time and I'm coming to get mine. In time, I cannot lose and I'm coming right inside. I'm in mine, yeah. Feel like John Morant, need a triple-double. Told him check the stats, yeah, I got a couple. I don't drop the ball, now I never fumble. I'm the MVP, now I feel like Russell. Feel like John Morant, need a triple-double. Told him check the stats, yeah, I got a couple. I don't drop the ball, now I never fumble. I'm the MVP, now I feel like Russell. Yeah, I need it now, told him on the lay. I've been moving, dog, yeah, I'm on the way. I don't hear the talk, don't care what they say. I don't got no patience, I can't ever wait. I've been trying to get it, running up all these digits. And I've been in the gym, I've been up doing minutes. I just put in that work, told them it's strictly business. And I see through the face, they all just burning bridges. Feel like John Morant, need a triple-double. Told him check the stats, yeah, I got a couple. I don't drop the ball, now I never fumble. I'm the MVP, now I feel like Russell. Feel like John Morant, need a triple-double. Told him check the stats, yeah, I got a couple. took the summer off. I've been going down the list, checking numbers off. I was checking on your numbers, told them something's off. I was at the bottom, now you know I'm climbing. Now they sending deals, they know I ain't signing. They been trying to sell it, they know I ain't buying. When they send a text, dog, I ain't replying. Feel like John Morant, need a triple-double. Told him check the stats, yeah, I got a couple. I don't drive the ball, now I never fumble. I'm the MVP, now I feel like Russell. Feel like John Morant, need a triple-double. Told him check the stats, yeah, I got a couple. I don't drive the ball, now I never fumble. I'm the MVP, now I feel like Russell.
Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll, and it's time to run it up, yeah, you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, ayy, on the road, here we go. Yeah, we winning by a landslide. Never see me coming, I'm a landmine. Yeah, I ain't taking orders in command, like, yeah, you about to see me on demand, like, you know on demand. If you ain't know, you about to understand. Yeah, I got the team by my side, right hand. Yeah, take it to a string, you ain't seen it like that. Yeah, and it's the dream, and we coming for the bag. Yeah, and we ain't never going back now. Future expedited, now we on the fast track now. They won't lend a hand, now they see us on the map now. It's time to act out. Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll, and it's time to run it up, yeah, you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, ayy, on the road, here we go, yeah, at the top of the class on a roll, ayy, and it's time to run it up, yeah, you know, yeah, maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, yeah, on the road, here we go, here we go. Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll, and it's time to run it up, yeah, you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, ayy, on the road, here we go, yeah, at the top of the class on a roll, ayy, and it's time to run it up, yeah, you know, yeah, maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, yeah, on the road, here we go, here we go. Here we go. On the road, here we go, here we go.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Frankie Candles live stream every single weekday right here at 5:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and sometimes at 11:20 a.m. when Bitcoin is pumping. What is going on, Mafia? I just wanted to go live here as Bitcoin is pumping. I am in a trade. I want to talk about what we're seeing on the charts as we are likely to see the volatility increase as we approach tomorrow's meeting. So we are, as I've been talking about on the live streams at night, guys, we are at an absolutely pinnacle point in the market. And obviously the higher time frames do really look bearish, but obviously it is really hard to call right now. So I just want to go over the price action with you guys, talk about the lower time frames, kind of what I was looking at for this trade, and kind of where I'm looking at it to go, or where I'm looking for it to go. And then we'll take a look at the higher time frames, talk about that bearish case, and then just kind of talk about what I'm expecting here when these rate cuts do come in. It is basically, I'm pretty sure it's a guarantee that we're going to get a cut. The real question is it going to be, how much is that rate cut going to be? It's really the only toss-up here, and those percentages typically don't really change too much, right? When the predictions are on one side, they usually stay there, and it's usually just like 100% predicted, and they're right like 95% of the time. But every time you check that the Fed watch, it just changes every single day. It's like I look at something, and then shout out to Darren Does Things correcting me in chat. He's like, no, they totally changed. It's now they're expecting something completely different. So this stuff is all over the place. I want to talk about what I'm expecting, and then again we'll take a look at the lower time frames, and then we'll also take a look at some of the bitcoins. I almost said some of the altcoins. I got the black coffee here, guys. It is the morning. I do plan on doing a morning stream at some point consistently. We're not sure exactly what we're going to do with the schedule here, so we're just kind of testing out times. You might see some live streams pop up at random times. Coffee streams. Shout out to Chemo or Chemo. I don't know how you say that, but yeah, we got the black coffee here in our Ember mug, which is my electronic mug that keeps my coffee hot. Shout out to Mrs. Candles. She got me this. Keeps it black coffee. What a monster. Shout out to Steve. Yeah. I've been drinking coffee since I was a youngin'. I probably started drinking coffee way too early in life. But yeah, once you... Never mind, guys. Once you start drinking black coffee, it's hard to drink regular coffee. But anyway, guys, with all that being said, shout out to the CandleMafia, guys. Don't forget to smash that like button. Let's see who we got in here. Let's go for 550 likes. I don't know how many. We might get a lot of viewers. We might get like no viewers. It is like the hot time for crypto streams right now, so a lot of people are already watching streams. But yeah, we'll see what happens. But let's go for 550. Let's see if we can hit 550. Do I have a black eye? Guys, I swear I didn't get into a fight. I look like I have a black eye, though. Shout out to Goldavelli. What is going on, man? Said, let's go. We got Mr. Ethereum in the chat. Alexandra G. What is going on? Tony D checking in, reporting for duty. Shout out to, let's see, we got Servando Estrada. Said 820 here, Frankie. That's the interesting thing, too, because our analytics are kind of interesting, right? Because we have viewers from all over the world, and, like, I feel like I'm late to the morning streams, but then you get people from, I guess it's always morning for someone somewhere. But yeah, shout out to Servando Estrada. We got Igro. Said 25 basis points is what I am planning for, which in my opinion is probably already baked into the price. But I want to talk about kind of the situations I'm looking at, guys, because we are likely to see some crazy stuff happen this week. But let's see. Yo, shout out to Al Jr. He said, no Mafia viewers. No, I'm sure we're going to get viewers. I just don't know if it's going to be a lot or a little. Shout out to Kush Patel. What is going on? Frankie the GOAT said it's 11:25 in Canada. Right, 11:25 here in the U.S. as well. Let's see, we got French Toaster in the chat. Said driving and lurking. And we got Coin Hoover pulled his car over to listen to the dang live stream. But yeah, guys, with all that being said, let's see. Shout out to Gary Clinton. Pressure drop. What is going on, guys? We got Gen Z and B Radkiff, Crypto, DMP Smurf. We got the Mafia in the chat. Let's go. But with all that being said, yeah, 8:25 a.m. here. Yeah, so I guess we caught a bunch of the Mafia in the morning. But let's go ahead and jump on into the charts here, guys, and see if we can figure out what Bitcoin's going to do next. Let's get into it. So here we are. Oh my God, the object tree wasn't up. I was like, what is missing here? But here we are, guys. Bitcoin obviously getting a nice little pop to the upside. Now, if you guys watched the live stream last night, you will know I was in a scalp long from a... this was that setup, right? I didn't give it on the live stream, obviously. I gave it in the premium Discord. Actually, I think I have it up here. Yeah, setup given in the premium Discord here as we were looking at this value area low / anchor VWAP / golden pocket retracement. We came right into there with some 30-minute bullish divergences as well as, I believe, some 15-minute bull divs as well. And we just had some local bull divs into that value area low. And to be quite honest with you, this was actually not, shout out to the premium Discord, because this was actually not the main level I was looking at that I wanted to really long. I was actually looking at a level a bit lower here, closer to about 57 to 56K. It was actually just a larger volume profile that I was looking to long off of. But I was looking at this as a potential scalp. Actually wound up playing out a lot better than first anticipated. But yeah, glad I actually took that position, because usually I am someone who sits out and waits for that key level to get tapped. I don't really rush into trades. But because we had the divergences as well as some other things on the medium time frames, I did think we could at least get a little bit of a push up here to the golden pocket or the 786. I'll just pull this roughly. Kind of the way I was looking at this was a potential push up, into the golden pocket, which we did get a nice rejection from. But then we wound up just shooting right past that 786 to come up here, and now we are actually dancing with an interesting level. Let me actually pull that up here. We do have this wick up here, guys, sitting at about 61.75, right? $61,067. And if we pull up the high block capital chart real quick, I do just want to go over this with you guys really quickly, right? Because if we zoom out here, you guys can see we do have some local liquidity. Let me zoom up, if that makes sense. Right up here, right, at about 61, or I'm sorry, no, that is this high, right? But above that, this wick here sitting at about 61.2, we do have a nice little pop of liquidity. And to be quite honest with you, oh, this is not updated. That's why that looks like that. Let me update this real quick. Come on, baby. Come on. Yeah, there we go, right? So we are approaching this wick here, and we do have that liquidity sitting right there. If I could just zoom into this just to get a little closer, right? Hot block of liquidity sitting about 61,255, right? So, there is some liquidity above there, so we could potentially get a little bit of a rejection from here, and I actually may be willing, not that I would... Let's see. I mean, to be honest, let me pull up the... let me pull up the trade here real quick. So I am long, bada boom, right here on Femex. Shout out to Femex. Let me go ahead and pull up the... So long here on Femex from about... Can you guys see this? Yeah. Long from about, let's see. Where is it? 57,983. And then, up about 56%. Got about $463 locked in. And then up about $1,700 unrealized. Nice little scalp here. And I'll be honest, I entered this yesterday during the premium live stream, or not during the premium live stream, but right before the premium live. I entered, wherever that was, 50, right about down here, pretty close to, almost 58K even. And, I was hoping this was going to kind of play out yesterday, right? Like make a quick $1,000, $2,000 for the day. And then we just brutally went sideways, up and down and up and down. Things got super choppy. And then finally we took off today. And there is a reason here that I was going to... There is a reason here that, I was expecting a little bit of a push up here, right? Now, I want to be clear. Before I cover any of this, guys, I do just want to reiterate here that the higher time frames do still remain somewhat bearish, right? 3-day money flow still coming out now. Money flow is trying to creep up here, but that is not necessarily anything to write home about. As once this VWAP rolls over, if we get over cross over the zero line, get another red dot, it can't really take anything home from this or kind of make any decisions based off that. But technically the money flow's trending in the right direction, but just still not the most beautiful thing ever. 4-day, this is obviously trending to the downside, right? Like this is just in a binary fashion trending to the downside. This money flow is bearish. Now, here's the thing, guys. With the meeting coming up here, I am not necessarily, just because money flow is coming out on the daily time frame. Like, I'm going to talk about the kind of main scenarios that I'm looking at happening here. I've kind of covered them on the live stream before, but I figured I'd cover them today as well. But money flow coming out on the 4-day, still bearish. 5-day money flow still generally coming out. And then, coming up here to the weekly, weekly is... you got the green dot. That's kind of your good sign here. But, the chances of the green dot being a lackluster pump to the upside is there before putting in another lower high and continuing for a bigger move down. But, again, I am not calling for that 100%, right? Like, I am somewhat neutral on that move to the downside or coming up to higher prices. Because with these rate cuts, they're very, very hard to predict. A lot of times you do see dumps, and then eventually you see that price come up with the risk on assets. You start to get that little bit of a ride as the DXY starts to break down. But it's really hard to call here, guys, and I've been saying this, right? Like, I'm not really trying to make any huge bets, not 100% calling for 100K, not 100% calling for 40K, right? It's like kind of a toss-up here, and I do think this is like one of the most important times in the market, as I was mentioning last night. This is likely going to be like the time where all the bears get faked out and we come up to higher prices, or all the bulls get absolutely faked out and we get the move down to about 40K, right? And there is a case to be made for both. In my own honest opinion, shout out to Anna Maria. Thank you for that super chat. Says smash the like button, guys. Heart, not real emoji, like a classic emoji with the less than 3. Let's go. Shout out to Anna Maria. Thank you for that. It should be, maybe we get a little FOMO pump into the rate cuts, right? The market's anticipating those rate cuts, and then we get the rate cuts, and then it winds up being like a sell the news event, or, they raise it 50 basis points, and it spooks the market a little bit, and then we get the bigger dump to the downside. It's really, really unpredictable, so please be careful out there if you're trading. But again, I'm just kind of riding the waves here with these little longs, and just local trades here for the most part. Other than that, just kind of letting, things play out to see what we can have happen here. But locally, guys, 4-hour money flow, right? Like the higher daily time frames do still somewhat look bearish. Obviously, we were looking for a move up based off the 3-day green dot, 4-day green dot, the 5-day, the 6-day green dots as well. And now we do have that weekly green dot. But until that money flow really starts coming back up here, we have to, look at this as a potential lackluster retracement for a lower high and a bigger move down. But other than that, right, like we come on down to these lower time frames, as you guys know, ever since, let me hide some of this stuff here. Let me go ahead and get rid of the trend line. Actually, I'll keep that trend line. Let me go ahead and hide the daily, weekly, and monthly levels. We'll hide this volume profile. But as you guys know, let me actually pull up the do I have that bigger range? Where is it? Current value area. And I do want to talk about that as well, guys, because as you know, on the live streams, kind of what we've been looking at are these two major ranges, right? We have the range from the all-time high, right? This larger range up here between about, I just got a phone call, I think. What the heck was that? But yeah, we have this major range up here between the 60,000, roughly 60,000. Obviously, we got big drops here, and the all-time high. This major range up here that everyone is completely sick of, right? I'm completely sick of this range, so hopefully we can get rid of that. But if we go ahead and hide that current range, you guys can see this local range is really what we've been looking at for the longs, right? And if you guys were watching the live stream, I believe it was last Monday, right? We were looking at that 90-minute money flow crossover right here, starting the bigger move to the upside to get back inside this value area, get a move up to the POC, and then eventually a move up to the value area high. And as you can see, once again, the volume profiles have prevailed, giving us that move right on the 90-minute money flow crossover with the daily green dot, flipping that value area low to support, and then getting that move to the POC. And then obviously it's always a journey, but eventually we do get up, and we are now testing that value area high right now. So beautiful. And this was also actually a setup in the premium Discord down here from the 90-minute money flow crossover. Actually got the crossover while I was sleeping. So I personally did not take this trade. I don't like using limit orders, so I did not take that trade personally. But I am in the one here, obviously, that we just showed. But yeah, that's kind of the idea of what we've been looking for. And finally, we have come up to that 61 to 62K level, which is what we've been looking at on these live streams. Because this level between about, even 60 to 62,350 is an absolutely critical level of resistance, as you guys know. Because if I come up here to the daily, not only do we have the value area high, let me pull the fibs here, right, just to kind of show this, right? Not only do we have the value area high, the local range, we also have the golden pocket 786 retracement of this entire move down sitting in this zone. And, if we are going to put a lower high in and get a bigger dump to the downside, and again, tomorrow is likely going to be volatile. Maybe we get a huge dump down tomorrow and then a big rip up. Remember, FOMCs oftentimes look like this. Big wick up, right? Big wick down, and then sometimes you just settle in the middle, right? Or sometimes it's, big wick down, big wick up, and then, sometimes you settle in the middle. Sometimes you just wick up and keep going. It's very, very unpredictable, especially with this rate cut coming. I do expect a ton of liquidity, a ton of volatility, so please be careful out there. But, just generally speaking, if we are going to see a lower high, in hindsight, that lower high is potentially going to be high probability to come in at that golden pocket 786. This is where you would traditionally expect that to come in. So that's why, just one of the one of the many reasons, right? Golden pocket 786, highest likelihood area to put in a lower high potentially on this local move to the downside. You also have the value area high, which is typically where you want to start looking for shorts if you could deviate above. And then on top of that, guys, we also have many other things here, such as the Lux Algo Daily Smart Trail, which is also coming right down in this zone. This is another thing. Shout out to Lux Algo. This is another thing we were looking at to potentially come down and give us really, really strong resistance here. And we are now tapping into that zone. But besides that, we also have the macro range, the larger range from the top of this big consolidation area at the top here. We have the value area low of this range coming in right at that same zone. So a plethora of resistance here, right? Now, the nice thing here is, let me take the indicators off just to clean things up. Just to make things clear here, this is nice because this value area low is absolutely key. If we start to flip this level to support, that could potentially give us an opportunity. I mean, depending on if we come to the 786 first or not. As long as we remain above this value area low, we could potentially see a move to the 786. And then once, in my opinion, once we break that 786 at 62,350, that is really what we need to anticipate the bigger move up to about $67,000. These are the three levels that you need to be absolutely paying attention to. Number one is the value area high sitting at about 61.3 to 61.4. Very, very, very key level, especially with this wick up here. If we do wind up getting that SFP, which we may be getting right now, yeah, may get that SFP right here. Now, the one thing is here on the order flow, not really, not really what you want to see. The idea here is like, is this a legitimate pump or is this actually a short squeeze? In my opinion, right, looking at the actual order flow here, is this a short squeeze? Let me turn off the TPO really quick. Is this an actual short squeeze, right? So what you want to see for a short squeeze is you want to see a lot of shorts exiting the market, right? Do we have that? Yes. We do have a lot of shorts exiting the market right here, so that could be considered a squeeze. On top of that, our rect bubbles do come up here showing us that the shorts were getting liquidated here. Does that mean the move can't continue? Not necessarily, but let's take a look at the longs. We did have fresh longs coming in here. Let me pull up the open interest real quick. Yeah, we did have some longs coming in at the top here. So this isn't necessarily the setup that I personally like to see for a huge short squeeze and a massive dump to the downside. Could we cool off here? Absolutely. But we did have longs coming in on this candle. So I'm not 100% convinced we'll just absolutely dump from here. Again, a little bit hard to read right now, but I will just say, key levels of resistance. This zone between 60,000 and 62,350 is absolutely pinnacle. Once we get above that level, we could potentially see the bigger move to the upside, getting into that POC at $67,000. But I will be honest, right? Like 12-hour money flow trying to cut back into the green here, 16-hour money flow trying to get back into the green here. We got the VWAP flip on the daily. So, this volatility has already begun, right? Because yesterday we just had a red dot, but obviously I was not shorting. I was longing based off the lower time frames. But, we got the daily red dot, and now we're just getting an instant green dot. So we're already seeing the volatility come in here with the indicators kind of getting pushed to the side a little bit. So just, keep that in mind. It is a little bit, sketchy out there, but just for the most part, this is indeed the most important level of resistance. And again, that range is between 60,000 and 62,350. And then, once we get up to the $67,000 point of control, if we crack that 62,350 level, I probably will be looking up to the $67,000 level. That is different than looking for 100K to come in. So, I will say that it's just, I don't know, right? Like very simply put, I'm not going to come up here and tell you guys I know exactly where price is going unless I know, or I think I know, or I'm strongly convinced. But in my opinion, there really is no super strong argument for either side to play out here, right? Like if I'm looking at Market Cipher, that higher time frame, the 3-day, the 4-day, these would be calling for more downside, right? Making it more likely to visit that $40,000 range, sitting right down here, right? We also have the weekly naked point of control sitting at 47,480. So, that is another thing we can look at if we do get the bigger drop down. That's going to be the first major level of support I'm looking at. But it's very hard to just say, especially at this point in the market, right? Like we're very likely, we're going to have to get a fake out on money flow on higher time frames if we're just going to come up to all-time highs, right? And we do have a lot of work to do, right? We got to get above 62,350. We got to get above the PLC at $67,000. And then we got to get above that value area high and get the full breakout. Now, the problem I see with that is, a lot of people ask me, Frankie, how do you know if the volume profiles are going to break up or break down? Because if you guys don't know, if you are new here, the way we trade these volume profiles is we like to look for shorts at the highs, longs at the lows, shorts at the highs, longs at the lows, right? And the idea is when you deviate above the high, this is considered an overvalued asset. You look to trade that back into the fair value and look for that to eventually and potentially return to the value area low. You deviate below the low, then you look at this as an oversold asset, right? Or a cheap asset, and you look to buy this back into the range, back to the median, right? Or the fair value, and then hopefully back up to the value area high where you could potentially get another short setup. And the idea here is you might say to yourself, well, that's all good and dandy, but what about when the price breaks down or breaks up, right? Well, very often, if you are going to get into shorts at the highs here and you do get the bigger breakdown, I like to take TPs at the POC and the value area low, and if things look like they're going to break down to lower prices, I will hold a portion of that trade for lower prices, right? And then at that point, you look back in hindsight and you're holding a portion of that trade from the tippy top, right? So that's kind of how I trade this, but people always ask me, Frankie, how do you know if price is more likely to break down or break up? And oftentimes, right, I like to look at order flow, but another thing you can look at is the money flow, right? When you see money flow coming to the downside like this is not oftentimes what you want to see if you're going to see this thing break up and to the right. When you want to see price breaking up into the right, into new all-time highs, especially on a higher time frame like this, you literally want to see the opposite of what we have here. Whoops, I did not want to do that. I wanted to invert market cipher B, right? You want to see money flow in the red and then crossing over into the green. That would indicate to me that it is much more likely for this to break to the upside. But again, I'm not even putting a super amount of conviction in that just because of where we are in the cycle, all the macroeconomic events. We have the rate cuts coming. Crazy volatility is likely to income, right? So if we are going to blast off here, it's just going to be a fake out on money flow, and it's very hard to predict that. So, not putting a super high amount of conviction on that. But just to show from a technical perspective, from a binary perspective, is the money flow coming in or out? Very clearly, this is coming out. So from a very technical perspective, this would just, if you had to base this just off TA, which again, we have a lot going on in the macroeconomic environment here, this would call for more of a break to the downside, more than a break to the upside. And even if we do get the breakdown, you have to understand that these rate cuts tomorrow may wind up giving it like the biggest fake out ever. We might just rip up here, fake everybody out, and then get the big move down. Like, it's likely going to be very confusing. It's likely going to catch a lot of people off sides. It's going to wreck a lot of longs. It's going to wreck a lot of shorts. So please, for the 5th time, be very careful out there if you're trading. And that's my thoughts, right? Like, I really am. Like, I don't hold any super big positions except for the little scalp long that I have here, which is a smaller position. But, other than that, like, really not, like, longing the farm here or shorting the farm here. Again, from a technical perspective, higher time frames are bearish. But then again, right, money flow in the 4 hour is coming up, right? Money flow on the higher time frames, 5 hour coming back up. And another big thing that was made me comfortable holding this long overnight, guys, was very simply put, 30-minute money flow coming to the upside. We talk about this all the time. 30-minute money flow coming to the upside, right? With a green dot on the 8-hour incoming, right? And we have that fresh 8-hour green dot, which is now over here, right? Fresh 8-hour green dot with that fresh 30-minute money flow crossover. Oftentimes that 30-minute money flow crossover, if you're going to get that green dot on the 8-hour, is the thing that gives you the bigger move up. And obviously that was the case here, giving you that 5-6% pop to the upside as we struggle below this wick here, right? So I do just want to point that out. We did grab that liquidity right above that. Let me bring that back up. We still do have a little, come on, there we go, right? So we did come up and grab some of that liquidity, right? So sometimes you can get a cool off there. Now, I've already taken profit off of my trade a little bit. I've taken about 480 or something like that off my trade. So I will be holding some of this for a potential continued move to the up. Yeah, 1,600 still in profit here. But again, like for these SFPs, I like to see multiple confirmations, right? I don't just like to see the SFP candlestick pattern, which is what we're getting right here. It's actually a pretty clean one. Wick above, closure below. Once you print this red candle, that's your confirmation to, potentially enter a SFP if you're looking for the short. But there are other things I like to see on this kind of stuff. Let me actually pull up this cleaner chart here real quick. Bada boom, bada bing. So let me actually pull this up because there are some other things I like to see. It's not just the SFP pattern. Really, I like to see the order flow confirmations, which I'm not going to go over those right now. Obviously, that's something we go over more in the Discord. But yeah, we did get it on the 30-minute. SFP is confirmed here, so not possible to cool off. But again, like another thing I like to see here is nice bearish divergences. Like even on those lower time frames, I like to see an SFP and then lower time frame bear divs, which I guess we do kind of have, right? Lower highs on the momentum waves, higher highs on your price action. But yeah, not 100% convinced here just yet. Let me just check the order flow one more time. Let's see here. A lot of buy volume on this way up. Open interest. Yeah, like what I really like to see is, this is not really what I love to see as far as an SFP confirmation on, and this is important to understand, right? Like I'm not going to go into this. Like a lot of people are not, this is going to kind of go over a lot of people's heads. But Premium Discord, if you're in here, there is one confirmation here. I'm not going to give it away, but it's, what I really do like to see, and this isn't really like a secret strategy or anything, but what I like to see on those SFPs, let me actually just draw that SFP wick. Really what I like to see here, at least on EXO charts, is going to be, right, let me try to get this as close as possible. It's kind of hard. Yeah, it's close enough. But yeah, oftentimes, right, what I like to see here, if you are going to swing fail these levels, I do like to see like a big drop in open interest, right? Because what is the idea of a swing failure pattern, right? The idea of a swing failure pattern is that you're going to come up and wreck the shorts before finally getting another move down, right? And if you don't see a ton of shorts getting wrecked on that candle that SFP'd, like there's really no reason to expect that SFP to play out in a big way. Now, sometimes it just does, right? It's not 100% strategy, right? But you can see here, right? I mean, we have mostly open interest is coming up. We have a lot of buy volume here. But you look at the shorts, right? I'm sure, yeah. I mean, really what I would like to see on an SFP is like a big drop like this on open interest. So, sure, did the shorts get squeezed here a little bit? Yeah, maybe. But again, like not the strongest confirmation. Maybe I'll take a shot at this just for the YOLO, just for the content. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I really would like to see a bigger drop in open interest here, to be quite honest with you. But with that being said, guys, we'll see. We'll keep this going throughout the stream. We'll see if we can see that continued pullback here for the time being. But with that being said, guys, I just wanted to come on here. We'll take a look at the altcoins in just a second, but I really just wanted to update everybody. Like, be careful out there because we're going to see a lot of volatility, and like this is like kind of what I would leave you guys with, at least on the ideas of Bitcoin. And we'll come back and check in before we wind up signing off here. Shout out to Golden in the chat, said my custom coded indicator is showing this is a fake out and just gave a third signal. Shout out to Golden. 100x short. I'm just kidding, guys. Not financial advice. That's a joke. I'm not 100x short. That was a joke. Please don't do that. Shout out to Medic Money. What is going on? Shout out Golden, bro. Shout out to Golden in the chat. Good to see you, bro. Golden, where are you at right now? Are you in the are you in the Caribbean right now? Let me know what you're doing, bro. But with that being said, guys, be very careful, right? Like my gut tells me, right? The TA, I'm not as bullish as I once was at these highs, right? And to be quite honest, I've been pretty bearish here pretty much since this lower high, right? Like we looked, and really the first warning sign was the money flow, right? 2-day money flow started coming out here. That was the first warning sign, like, hey guys, if we come up and make a lower high, that might be the start of a bigger downtrend. And I'll be honest, like that is still my bias, right? Like I would say, like, again, I'm kind of 50-50, but I'm like bullishly, cautiously optimistic. Like I hope that we get the fake out on money flow and the big rip to the upside, right? I hope the rate cuts just give us an instant rip to the upside, but that is not typically what we wind up seeing, right? So we just have to assume that the TA is not going to play out, right? And we're just going to get the fake out. So you're betting against the TA, right? You're also betting against getting the likely dump at the first rate cuts. It's who knows? Who knows? It's a very big toss up here. But again, from the charts, my job is to come here with the charts to bring you guys the binary information, and that is that money flow is still coming out on the higher time frame. So as far as money flow, it would be more likely to come down. Even if we get like a big fake out tomorrow, we could still see that move down. So it's either, likely going to be a big fake out before a big dump, or, tomorrow's going to be messy. It's impossible to guess what's going to happen tomorrow. But in my opinion, let's see. If we get the move down, I think 47.5 is the biggest level to watch. $40,000 is the biggest level in the long term. If we start losing these levels, I don't even want to talk about those super lower levels. Maybe I'll make a pre-recorded Bitcoin deep dive, diving into like if that bearish case starts to play out. I'll kind of do an overall outlook on what I think about that and how low we can actually go. But this time is looking a little bit different, guys. So we'll see. But the charts are pointing a little bit less, just from a technical perspective, from a market structure perspective, from a money flow perspective. Just looking at the charts, it looks a little less likely to just rip up to all-time highs. If we do get some kind of shocker move to all-time highs, I do think that the next major level that I would be looking at is probably going to be sitting at about $81,000. But again, the charts are not pointing that way, but the charts are wrong sometimes. I'll be the first person to tell you that. As a chart maxi, as a almost 100% technical trader, I will tell you that the charts are not right 100% of the time. And to be quite honest, the charts have nailed this lower high, this lower high, this lower high, and this lower high, if it happens, right? The charts have nailed these, right? The trend is your friend until the end. So, at some point, right, it's not just because we're in a downtrend that we have to continue down, right? At some point, you got to break that downtrend and continue back up. A lot of people are looking at this as a bull flag, right? And I'll be honest, at first, I thought everyone was bullish here. The reason I was calling for lower highs on these was just based off the charts and also the fact that no one else was looking at it, right? Like everyone else was just bullish. All-time highs, all-time highs, all-time highs, right? We were just looking for lower high, lower high, lower high. But it's very hard because if you do, at that time, right, like a lot of people were very bullish, right? So it was kind of easy to be bearish. At this point, it's kind of hard to say. Like I think a lot of people are bullish, And there's also a lot of people out there that are bearish, right? I think like a lot of people who are looking at the data and the information are really bearish. But again, this stuff doesn't play out 100% of the time. So yeah, the way I'm playing it is I'm in my long, right? I got my nice entry in my long from down here, and hopefully we can get that to continue to play out. Hopefully I don't get stopped out in profit. Actually, I haven't moved my stop loss just yet. But yeah, I am going to be hedging with shorts on the way down, right? And then, whatever I'm holding tomorrow, I'm going to kind of sit back. Maybe we'll live stream the FOMC meeting, and we'll see what happens. I don't know. Maybe 70K first. The other thing, let's pull up the liquidation heat maps, right? This is something we've been looking at. I've been bringing these up for a while, right? And they have helped us with a lot of these big moves, right? Like I pull up one of these higher time frames, pull up the 6 month, right? Like these liquidation heat maps have helped us anticipate some of these big drops, right? I'm going to pull up the year. We've been bing-bonging back and forth, Mafia, for so long. Yeah, shout out to DJ Mad. Like, that's how I'm handling it. If we get the drop to 40K, I will be loading up my bags for sure. For sure. I don't think, I really do not think that we are likely to see a massive bear market. Now, if we were to see a massive bear market, if things were to shock the world and we were going to see, things play out like we have never seen before. I talked about this on yesterday's live stream. That's where these fibs are from. Let's not forget we have this larger volume profile, right? In my opinion, if we get that move to 40K and we start losing that range and if I'm not, Frankie Candles is not calling for 40K to come in. But if we were to see something like that, I will say the levels to look at, like the worst case scenario, we go into another big bear market and we see something similar to what we saw in 2020 where we got a huge black swan event, something like that, right? And I'll tell you this, if that black swan event comes in, the charts can predict the future. Crystal balls are real. I lied about everything. I have a crystal ball on the table right here, and I never told anybody, and I was lying when I said I didn't have one. Everything's a scam. Everything's scripted. Everything is pre-programmed if that happens, right? But if we get a black swan event, in the worst-case scenario, we could potentially be looking at this lower range getting reaccepted, right? Getting back below that value area high at 55K, losing the buy bit value POC at $47,000 could potentially be the big level to lose, and then that would easily open up the door to potentially come down to $32,000 to $30,000. I am not calling for that, but I'm saying there's a lot of bears out there that are, and again, I want to put this, people who, this is not that scary. A drop to 40K, I've been talking about this forever, is not that scary. A drop to 40K in this giant uptrend is not that scary, right? That is not the bear market, in my opinion. That, I think if we see a drop to 40K, it's more likely to do something like this, right? Everyone gets super bearish. Everyone gets super stopped out, super faked out, right? You get the big drop to the downside. Maybe you get a little wick, and then you finally see that big move happen. And this is more in line with what has happened on previous rate cuts, right? If I pull up the Bitstamp, actually, let me see. I found an indicator. Where is it? Is it this one? Let me see. Yeah, there's another one that's not as annoying. Come on. So yeah, this indicator, bear with me, guys, while I try to find the one I was looking at. Okay, so it's not this one. Okay, bada boom. Let me get rid of these. So, if we just look at this, I guess I could look at this. I just don't like all these crosses on the chart. It's like really obnoxious. Okay, there we go. So, if we look at these historically, guys, come back over to 2020, right? Every rate cut, like, almost ends in an instant dump. Right now, again, is this a different point in the market? Maybe. Hard to say. But, 25 basis points, dump, right? 25 basis points, dump, right? And what happened on these? We rallied into these, right? We rallied in, bled out, big dump, right? We rallied into this big dump, right? And assuming this indicator is right or accurate with the dates, which I think it is, right? Because I think it has one on March 3rd. It should be, yeah. So this is accurate in my opinion, right? And then even here, right? We started to rally, we rallied, and then big dump, right? Now, again, is 2020 the best thing to look back at with a black swan event like this? Maybe not, right? But we have to work with what we have. And we have to try to compare things to, very, very, and to be honest, guys, like, it's kind of hard. It's really hard to go back and correlate all this stuff. But just keep that in mind, right? Like, rate cuts are not just instantly bullish all the time. So, it's important to remember, especially when we go in tomorrow, especially if we're rallying into tomorrow. You got to keep this stuff in mind. So, Again, maybe if we do get that instant dump, right, maybe we rally into it, right? It does look like we're starting to do that. We rally into it, and then we get the big dump, right? But again, as long as we can hold this major zone here in the 40,000s, I do think that's a good enough area to hold to potentially see the bigger bounce to the upside. But if the bear market comes in, I mean, we could be looking at if we see something like this where we come back and put in a slight higher low on the bear market lows. Now, again, different situation, right? This happened before the halving. We have now made an all-time high before the halving. This is a different situation for sure. You can't argue that, right? But we have to work with the information that we're given, right? We have to take the Hey, shout out to Hannah. Shout out to Hannah King in the chat. Said, hey, Frankie and CandleMafia, I have spent the last few months learning my own trading style that works for me. Glad to be back with the CandleMafia now. Shout out to Hannah King. Let's go. Super happy to hear that. Thank you for the super chat, and good to see you in here. Drop those tiaras in the chat for Hannah King, the princess of the CandleMafia. Let's go. Let's see. What's happening, Frankie? Stream now. Is it the end of the world, or have I overslept? Shout out to Mr. 420. No, Bitcoin's pumping. Bitcoin's pumping, so I went live. Shout out to Mr. 420. Yeah, maybe we need a hard dump to find buyers. I mean, yeah, hard. It's hard to say, but if we see a situation like this where we put another higher low in, and again, I wouldn't expect this tomorrow or anything. If we did see that, right? Again, I think this is the less likely situation. Again, less likely situation, but again, anything is possible. And if we were to see something like that, I mean, put in a slight higher low, I mean, and you're coming back close to bear market lows, right? This would be, I don't even know. 30K would kind of be what I'd be willing to look at, as far as the bearish case. But again, we have so much support before that, right? I am not looking down to 30K. I think worst case scenario right now, as the charts look, would be, again, both that macro VP, right? Let's maybe we get the drop down 47.5. It's impossible to tell where we're going to bounce, 47.5. Maybe we dip down into that value area with a wick, right? That would be pretty panicky. There'd be a lot of people freaking out here, right? But again, that would not be bear market territory for me. If we're going to go into some random bear market and the cycle's going to completely change and the $5,000 that we got over this all-time high was the top for this cycle, this time is definitely different if that's the case, right? And it's not possible. So, but I do think that's the more likely scenario, right? Because the rate cuts are typically bearish immediately, get the big drop, and then we get the big move up. The contrary to that is we see what we don't typically see on rate cuts, and they cut the rates, and all of a sudden it's just a massive jump to the upside. Again, macroeconomically, things are much different right now. So we'll have to see what happens. But that's what I'm expecting here, guys. Those are kind of the two major scenarios I'm looking at. And yeah, we'll see what happens here. Glad, we'll see if that SFP winds up playing out. Again, not the strongest setup in my opinion. And then just before we move on to the altcoins, go ahead and drop those altcoins in the chat if you guys want me to take a look. And I'll take a look at a few of them here. Let's see. This time's different. Shout out to Mike McCarthy. Yeah, historically, this time's different people have gotten wrecked, right? So I tend to think that this time it will likely not be exactly the same, right? They're never exactly the same, right? The cycles all have their own quirks. So I think it's very unlikely for it not to rhyme in some way, which it has so far, right? If you follow this channel, right, we've gotten this to rhyme very closely to what we were looking for based off the previous cycles. But things were different, right? We have a new all-time high before the halving and stuff. Who knows? Things are, it's not how it works, right? It's not just things are going to play out exactly how they, that's why I like the 4-year cycle. It's if you're just going off the 4-year cycle, and I'm not saying that the 4-year cycle, the halving cycles don't affect the price of Bitcoin, right? The supply shock is a real thing, right? The limited supply is a real thing. The all that is the block rewards are a real thing, right? But to say that is the only thing that moves Bitcoin is it's just not verifiable, right? Because again, we've always seen the looser monetary policy typically give the risk on assets a move, as I've been covering very heavily on the live stream. So, and it just follows the stock market for the most part, right? If you overlay the stock market on Bitcoin, or even the M2 money supply over Bitcoin, it all just matches perfectly, right? So it's hard to say that the 4-year cycle is the only thing that moves it, right? If we go into a global recession, right? If that happens and then Bitcoin rips, that would be enough to be okay, then maybe the Bitcoin halving has a lot more to do with the price action. But, if we see everything else go down, it's we've never seen Bitcoin just deviate like that. So, but there you go. All right, let's see. Bada boom, bada bing. Solana, Caspa, Toncoin. Yeah, okay, all right. Shout out to Kush Patel said, do you think Frankie, do you think this is the reason why we can't break all-time highs as everyone is looking for a dump? Not likely. I don't think it's just like everyone being bearish that's stopping us from getting a break of all-time highs. I just we're obviously finding a hard time, and this is really hard to tell, right? Like, shout out to Kush Patel. This is hard to tell. But yeah, this is like, are we just in a massive downtrend, right? And like, this is just going to continue breaking lower, or is this a bull flag? Like, this is almost impossible to tell. The only thing that we can look at to try to figure this out is the order flow or money flow, right? And the money flow says not a bull flag, right? But it doesn't mean that it's not going to break up, right? So it's like really hard to tell if this is a bullish consolidation or if this is just a downtrend that's going to completely continue to bleed out. Money flow says down, right? I will come up here. If we get that dump, I will come up on this live stream and be like, money flow is king. Money flow is king. But, you know, again, like we've seen money flow fake out before. We've seen this right here, right? And we knew it was likely to get the fake out on money flow here. We were literally looking for that fake out because of where we were in the cycle. We expected a little bit of a dump on the ETF approval. Like this, especially when you come into a golden pocket retracement, as we were looking at, right? Or a POC of the range, which is exactly what we were looking at on the volume profile, on the macro VP. Came up to that macro POC, where we also had the macro golden pocket from the all-time high in 2021 all the way to the bear market low. This golden pocket was our big target. As soon as we got into that range, that golden pocket was the first major target. Get above the value area low, hold it as support, get that ride up towards that golden pocket and the POC. Once we saw that ETF news release right on the top of those levels, we knew that this was likely going to be a sell the news event, right? When everyone looked for the break to 100K, we knew it was going to be a sell the news event to get that little pullback, but not a sell the news event to go into a bear market, right? Simply a sell the news event to get a cool off to potentially get that next leg up, because we knew the ETFs were likely going to be bullish over time, right? Just not right on the release of the news, like simple sell the news event, especially into those key levels of resistance. And this is why you want to look at the charts and you want to understand charts. Even if you don't trade, you want to understand this stuff. So even if you're a long-term investor, this stuff can help you out big time, right? You know, maybe you wanted to buy Bitcoin, but you don't want to buy the top of the pump, right? You want to wait for that 20%, get that discount. And you would know that it was likely to happen. Now, could we have broken up? Yes. But it's all a game of probabilities, right? But as you get that crossover into the red, right, we were saying like we might get that fake out because of where we are on the cycle, right? This is not typically where you see a daily money flow crossover into the red and go into another big dump, right? And with that ETF approval, we expect that bullishness, and we got that fake out. But these fake outs are a gamble. These fake outs are a gamble. The money flow plays out way more than it doesn't, right? So when you bet against it, you really got to know when it looks like it's going to fake out. And I think I was able to tell this because I've been looking at money flow for so long, right? There's no way to like, you know, where are you in the cycle? Like, that's something that you could put against it, right? Order flow, like you can weigh other things against the money flow, but it's very hard to call for those fake outs. Like, are we going to get the fake outs here? I don't know. It's very, very hard to call. So yeah, it's hard to say. But yeah, let's see. 2025 will be epic. Just a little more patience. Yeah, Andy asked. That's kind of my overall thought. Where's all the bears today? Shout out to Crypto Otaku. Shout out to you, brother. Get the bears out of here. It's funny, too. Someone was saying in the chat yesterday, this guy's always bearish. Like, literally long from 58K. That's not how it works. I'm a trader, right? Like, I am not just, if I'm bearish on the 3-day, and I say this all the time, and I say this to teach. My main focus of this channel is to teach people how to make money trading. You can make money trading, too. You can change your life. You don't even need to be a full-time day trader. If you can make a couple $100 a day, or even, like, whether that's $1,000 in one day, or $200 every day, or $50 twice a day, or 3-4 times a day, whatever it is, right? You don't need to make as much money as you think day trading. Not everyone has to make, you don't have to make $25,000 in one trade. You don't have to make $10,000 a day. If you can make $1,000 a day, $200 a day is a yearly salary. That would replace a lot of people, like a normal person's yearly salary, $200 a day. And you don't need that much money to make $200 trading, right? So just keep that in mind. But it is funny, right? You have to understand. I recommend don't get caught up in the bullish and bearish stuff, right? Like bulls versus bears. I'm a bull. You're a bear. Why are you a bear? You're an idiot. Like, they're always just calling each other idiots. Meanwhile, we're just sitting here like grabbing money on the dumps, grabbing money on the pumps, like, are you a bull or a bear? I don't know. Look over there, bro. I'm just grabbing my money. I don't care if it goes up or down, right? Obviously, long term, I'm a bull, right? But when the charts say down, they say down. But, it's also important to realize, right? This is, again, the hardest part of my job is helping people understand the context of time frames, right? I am bearish, right? I would technically say I am a little bit more bearish on the higher time frames, right? And again, if we did not have the rate cuts coming up, if we did not have the election here, if we didn't have so much going on geopolitically and economically, I would be looking at this as I would put a lot more weight on this money flow crossover, right? I would be saying like, this is bearish. I'm bearish. I don't care what anybody says. But with all that stuff, I'm kind of a little bit more neutral. Now, what can we do? We could still lean a little bit more bearish on this money flow with the idea that maybe it fakes out, but you could still lean a little bit more bearish on the money flow, and that's kind of what I'm doing, right? But that does not mean that these green dots on the higher daily time frames can't give us moves up and that we can't make money on this, right? This move from 58K, right? My scalp from yesterday from 58K to up here is up. Let's pull it up. Where is it at? Right? Right, like $2,000, right? A little over $2,000. This is in the last day, right? Like, and this is like $3,000 in margin on 10x leverage, right? But you don't, you can move that around to your liking, right? We've made actually shout out to BingX. They did close my trade because of the KYC. My long from 40K is closed. If no one heard that from last night's live stream. Unfortunately, it was closed. BingX closed it on me, but it was up $8,000, right? But that trade, right? If that was not closed and we continued up, right? That trade was up even $600. I used $600 to trade that, right? It was $600 into 8,000, right? And at the top, it was like $600 into 15,000, right? But I was just wanted to hold it for the meme to see if we can hit 100K with it, right? But either way, you don't need a ton of money, right? You could turn $600, and I'm not saying it's like going to happen the first time you ever trade. You're going to lose money when you first start trading. It's the end of story, right? Like very unlikely. Like maybe you get some beginner's luck, right? But like very unlikely are you going to start trading and become a profitable trader over time, like right when you first start. This is not how it works. But this is possible, right? Like, and you don't even need $2,000 in a day. You only need $200 to replace most yearly incomes, right? I know some people make more money than that, but like, just think about that, right? Like I've already locked in $464, right? Like now that would, that's not much, right? But for a normal person, right, that's not trading full time or not used to $2,000 days or $1,000 days or $10,000 days or whatever it is, right? Like this would be like they could take the whole week off, right? Like I wouldn't suggest quitting your job, right? I would take that $1,600, right? I would take that $1,600 and keep your job, right? And just use it as extra income, pay your rent, pay your mortgage, do whatever you need, right? But you learn this skill, and it doesn't matter, right? Like I've done this while still remaining bearish, right? Like I'm bearish on the higher time frames, and I made $2,000 in the past day with this move to the upside, right? So you have to understand how to kind of switch back and forth, especially if you're going to be a trader, right? It's very important. Don't get caught up in the bulls versus bears thing. It's like, it's not worth it, right? And again, like even if, right, I might be bearish on that money flow, but it doesn't matter, right? Like other than like people being on YouTube be like, what happened to the money flow? I'll just be like, it faked out, right? Like that was an option. I am agnostic on the market, right? I just take the information and I know that information's going to be wrong once in a while. But if you watch the channel, you know it's very rare. So as long as you're managing that risk, you will be good. So shout out to Noman says, amazing. I always see your recording suddenly in live stream now. Shout out to, I don't know exactly what that means, but shout out to Noman. Shout out to you, bro. My TP in the swing trade, the Big X closed my swing trade from 40K. My TP was going to be hold it for the content, just irresponsibly holding it for the content. But yeah, that was not, there was really no TP on that. But yeah, it was already up. Like I was in at 40K, and I figured even if we went back down to break even, I would still just hold it for the story. That was for the content though. I don't recommend anybody do that. That's not what I teach, right? But YouTubers be YouTubers. But yeah, TPs for this. I've already taken profit once here. So I TP one already. And next TP for me, to be quite honest, again, just to go over the macro, and now I will go into the altcoins right after this. Again, just to kind of cover the next levels of resistance. Again, 786, 62,350, which again is going to be a major, major level, right? Hopefully, did we? Yeah. I mean, look. SFP, still on the 1 hour potential, but again, like, yeah, we'll see. We'll have to see here, see if that SFP plays out. But again, not seeing all the confirmations I like to see on exo charts. But yeah, I would look for that 786 if we can hold that golden pocket and hold this value area low. Next major stop about. Like where are we at right now? 61.4. I mean, we're kind of at a key level of resistance, but if we get back above if we get back, we start pushing again, 62,310 is going to be another big take profit for me. Still, I'm going to be hunting for shorts all within this area, right? If I can get the confirmations, I will be taking stabs. Like, even if I have to get stopped out a few times, I will be looking for shorts up in here to potentially hedge my long position. And then we'll see what happens tomorrow. Maybe the long yeets before a big drop, or maybe it just yeets off. Maybe we just go. I don't know. It's hard to say. But again, the charts will be calling for more of something like this. Even if we break that 62,350 level, we got to get above that 62,350 and hold it. So shout out to everybody in here. Shout out to the CandleMafia guys. Smash that like button. Help push out this content to new people so we can discover new CandleMafia members. And make sure you subscribe to the channel because that also helps. But yeah, let's go ahead and jump into the altcoins. Let's see. Shout out to Creighton C said, historically speaking, usually September low happens in mid-September. In bull markets, it usually trends up from here, but you never know. Yeah, we'll never know. I mean, it's also September, right? The timing of that lines up. I've talked about this a million times. The timing of it lines up absolutely perfectly. September continues to push us down lower, and then eventually we kind of just wiggle sideways. Maybe the rest of 2024 is boring, and then who knows? If we don't get the October we're looking for. If we don't see October really start giving us the move, that would be kind of right on time in my opinion, right? September, even if it gives you the bigger drop, then October happens, you get the bigger pump up. Maybe we see an all-time high. But I don't know. This time, if we don't start doing that, we could see something completely different here. And again, I'm not making bets on that, right? I'm not going to say this time is different and bet all the farm on it. All right, maybe we come up, take the $70,000 liquidity, and then come back down. Who knows? I am not trying to predict the next big move right now, to be quite honest with you. I am day playing this. I have great entries between $20,000 and $21,000. So, if we continue down a little bit, I have a pretty good entry. So I'm pretty safe with. I have a long-term outlook on my long-term bags, right? The money I have invested in my long-term bags is not money I need to pay my rent. It is not money I need to pay my bills. It is money that I can sit on and even sit if I lose a lot of profit. I'm willing to hold this long term. My long term bags are long term bags. So even if we went into another bear market, I'm just going to pick up more, right? Bitcoin goes up and to the right over time, whether it happens in 2024, we hit 100K, 2025, we hit 100K, or, whatever we wind up seeing, or if we have to wait till 2026, 2028, I'm not necessarily worried about that, right? I'm not saying I'm going to ride my bags down to 10K, but again, I think we would have to see some kind of crazy global recession for that to happen, or depression, honestly. So I don't know. And could that happen? Maybe. It's very hard to call here. Let's see. Shout out to the Godfather. What is going on, bro? Welcome in. Let's see. Protect your winners, not your losers. Shout out to Nick. Absolutely, bro. Friendship. Yeah, guys. Yeah, the normal live stream is still at 5:45. I just went live because we're pumping. And I happen to be in a position, so I just figured I'd go live and give you guys a breakdown. I also just kind of wanted to cover this, right, because we literally have 24 hours left until the real craziness starts, guys. Tomorrow is likely going to be crazy. That is something I would bet on. Okay, Link setting up for a move now. Let's go ahead and take a look at it. Let me just, sorry, guys, trying to keep an eye on this potential SFP. Yeah, I don't know. Hard to say. Do you have any bear divs? I don't know. I'm kind of tempted. I don't know. I'm kind of tempted, to be honest with you. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Not the confirmations I like to see. I'm going to sit it out. If we get the move, I'll just be like, wow. But anyway, let's go ahead and move on here. Smash that like button if you guys like Link. Let's take a look at Link. Bada boom. I'm just going to freestyle these altcoins real quick, guys. Sheeb, ICP. Yeah, we can take a look at ICP, Crow. 6 months of sideways has really clouded the bullish perspective. Yeah, I think that, yeah, I don't know. I'm pretty agnostic right now. I'm kind of neutral, to be honest. Optimistically neutral. I would say I'm cautiously optimistically bearish, right? I kind of lean a little more bearish on the higher time frames, but I'm optimistic, right? I'm happy to see the breakout. I know it can happen, but I just have to kind of lean on the money flow. But let's see here. Yeah, so we were looking at Link last night, I believe. Oh no, yeah, okay, yeah. So we were at the POC last night, I think. Yeah, sitting at the POC last night, getting the bounce off the POC. I'll be honest with you. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Should we do like 5-minute, like just, I don't know. It seems so fun. Like just do like daily, maybe not daily, maybe like a couple times a week, just like daily, like super degen scalping. It'd be so dangerous. I don't really like to teach that, but I do want to add some like new content to the channel. I like just some different stuff that we haven't done. Let me know. Tony D, can you put a poll in the chat and put some times for live streams? Obviously, we've talked about it. So put some times on live streams. Maybe drop the altcoin update videos in there. Let's try to get a gauge on what the Mafia thinks and what they want as far as content. And like, do you guys want a morning stream? Do you want an afternoon stream? Do you want to just keep the night stream? Let me know what you guys want, because I want to deliver on what you guys want to see. I don't want to just do stuff. Memes is DGen. More on memes. Shout out to Tangi. Yeah, memes are just, I don't know. It's like less, memes is a completely different way of analyzing price, right? Like you can't analyze real memes, like unless it's Pepe or something. Like we could like maybe like scalp Pepe or like larger meme coins. But like with the like super low cap coins, it is a little bit, it's a completely different type of analysis, right? It's not jumping on live on the charts and like looking at money flow and stuff, because that's not really what moves the price. We could try to do something like that. But to be quite honest, like I'm an expert on the charts, not an expert on meme coin analysis. So I don't know. Maybe we could just like day trade meme coins. That would be funny. That would be like, but it would just be like getting wrecked constantly, but it would be funny for the entertainment. But I don't know. Let's see. Do I think Coinbase will ever list Brett? Could move the price. Not sure why they haven't. Yeah, shout out to Andy. I mean, it's not impossible. I think it's going to be probably unexpected. And then when it does happen, it probably definitely will moon. Yeah, so many other channels talk memes all the time. Shout out to Golden Valley New York Open stream. Yeah, we could probably do that. That's kind of like what we were thinking. Shout out to Tony D. He'll throw that poll up in a minute. We'll try to get an idea of what you guys are looking for. But yeah, let's go ahead and take a look here, right? So, volume profile still being respected here on Link. So yeah, lose this POC, probably looking down towards the value area low. This is going to be kind of the larger level that I would be interested in, is that golden pocket value area low. Kind of a bigger zone here, to be quite honest. So yeah, I mean, we come down into this zone, could potentially look for longs. Maybe even kind of mark this out in two separate areas. Just keep that golden pocket down there. So golden pocket, local golden pocket, value area low. Got the 786 retracement, so it's hard to say. Like, a lot of these altcoins are not really in great places to trade, in my opinion. This is what we were talking about last night. There's that poll, guys. Go vote on that poll. Let us know what you want. Let us know what you're looking for. But yeah, if we get that move, I would much rather wait to come back into this resistance or back into the value area low. Not necessarily an area I would look to long on Link. Now, can we come up from here? If you pull the local fib, right, you did get the golden pocket 786. So this is technically a zone that you would look to hold a higher low and potentially come up to higher highs. That's just not a long I'd be interested in, right? I'd rather let that go and then wait to come up to the high for a potential short, or potentially, just wait for higher prices. And if we do get the move down, right, I wouldn't really look to short here. I would just rather wait for the move down to potentially look for a long from a safer level. So yeah, value area low, golden pocket, or at least this golden pocket that I would be looking at, is sitting between about 1010 all the way down to about, I would call it about 970. That's kind of the next support zone I would be looking at for Link. Money flow kind of choppy here on the 12-hour, but if that VWAP comes back up, you could easily see something like this. If you get the green dot on the 12-hour, money flow comes back into the green, you could put a higher high in here, because I would kind of front run Market Cipher looking for that higher high. And then look for, that momentum wave to come up to put in the bear div, right? So, like, we could potentially look at that as a short setup. However, it could potentially give you, not only help you look for the bearish confirmation for a short, however, you could also look at it as, in order to get that bear div, you need a higher high, right? So you can kind of call that push to the upside. We do this all the time on the live stream at 5:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Shout out to Jesse. Shout out to you, bro. Said inverse head and shoulders on the monthly for Link, or yeah, potentially. I do see what you're looking at here, kind of like left shoulder head, right shoulder kind of neckline. Maybe. I mean, that would, if we were to get that, I mean, that would definitely put you into all-time highs at about $93 for a link. What is that from the previous all-time high? That wouldn't be really out of the question. So, yeah, I mean, that could be your measured move if that were the case. Now, again, I am not a huge pattern trader, so it's not something I would make decisions based off of, but I do see what you're looking at, if that is what you're looking at. I think that probably is. Let's see. Shout out to Crypto Poppy. He said, whoa, Frankie, this early. Good morning. Let's go. Shout out to Crypto Poppy. Welcome in, bro. Let's see. Rejection picking up a bit here. Let's see. Pulling back over to Bitcoin here. Is that SFP holding? Oh, it is. That's nice. That's what you want to see on an SFP. You want to see that kind of rejection, right? Red dot on the 30-minute, 45-minute. Yeah, I don't know. 45-minute money flow crossover into the green. Again, I wouldn't really necessarily look at this as a, 12-hour green dot printing. I would still like to see higher, to be honest. Like, based off that 12-hour green dot with the 45-minute money flow, if this stays in the green, I would probably look for a cool-off and a potential push higher. And I'll show you kind of what I'm looking at for that, right? If I pull up the daily chart, right, pull up the daily time frame, pull up this daily level that we just broke past, this daily could be a level that you want to hold as support, right? So what is that? So, yeah, I mean, if we could get confluence here, yeah, I like this would kind of be two zones, right? Like I would look down towards 59.8. Like these are kind of the three zones. Like if you hold this daily, could be nice. And then if you break that daily and you start losing it, right, you would more likely look to come into this volume profile, right? Now this, let me get rid of that fib. Pull from this low to this high. Yeah, 59. Could look here. We'll see what happens. We can watch it live. Will she dump? Will she dump? I mean, I will be honest. Like, if we come up here to the higher time frames, money flow's starting to come out on the 5-minute. I don't know if that would call for a huge dump. But, yeah, 10-minute, 15-minute red dot confirmed. 30-minute red dot printing. SFP confirmed as well. Let me get that SFP wick real quick on here. And again, the reason I was looking at that wick as an SFP is not just some random wick here, guys. Not just some random wick, but pulling up the heat maps, right? Come on over to the, not the 12-day, come up to the 7-day, right? We knew, right, that there was liquidity. Oh, God. I'm going to have to come over to the 1 month? Is that what we were on? I did not realize we had to zoom out that far. But, yeah, we know that there was liquidity sitting above this level, right? Our heat map shows these hot yellow boxes. If you do not know, these hot yellow boxes are what mark out that liquidity, right? Oftentimes, price will come up, sweep that liquidity, and then get a pullback, right? So it's kind of similar here. But, again, the way Market Cipher looks, you know, I would probably look for this to potentially continue, right? So if we do pull back, I would look into this volume profile and then maybe look for a continuation. So there you go. Yeah, 30-minute red dot. Let's see, 4-hour VWAP cooling off potentially. Starting to cool off a little bit. But, yeah, we'll have to see. Let's pull up. Yeah, shorts coming in. Let me see that. Yeah, a lot of shorts coming in. So here's the interesting thing, right? Really what I like to see, if you're going to get a big SFP, right, and a big move to the downside, oftentimes, and I'm not saying you can't continue down here, but oftentimes when you see that big move down, right, you stop out the shorts above the high, right, and then on the way down, you see a lot of longs, right, a lot of longs that were FOMOing in on that liquidation run. A lot of those longs start to get wrecked, right? So you see a big drop in open interest on that dump, right? It's almost like you get a big drop in open interest, meaning people are closing their positions here, which is putting a move to the upside. And then as those longs that were entering here get stopped out, right, those longs are closing. So you see a big drop in open interest, right? So if I'm looking to try to figure out what this move is based off of, I like to see this, right? I see open interest coming in, right, which shows me a lot of people opening positions, right? And then I see shorts coming up, right? Which could show you that maybe this move down is fueled by a lot of shorts coming in, right? And then, you know, we'll open up net longs here. Yeah, there's more shorts, right? So what can this mean? I'm gonna blow your mind real quick, right? And this is all, could you prove this? Not really. But if shorts are opening here, this could just start putting a lot more liquidation, a lot more lick levels, right, or liquidity sitting above these highs. So if a lot of shorts keep piling in, that may help the continuation to the upside. This is something that we saw with Matic when we saw Matic get that big pump to the upside. We saw something very similar happen where people just kept shorting, fueling the moves to the upside. So yeah, could be a lot of shorts opening here. It could just fuel the move to the upside. But we'll see. It's either going to be that or the longs are going to get slapped because longs did open all throughout this move, right? So, it does put liquidity below. We'll see. We'll see if that actually plays out. But anyway, let's go ahead and move on to some more altcoins here. Let's see. Yo, shout out to Bitfrog said SFP Wick SFP Wick real quick. That's bars. Shout out to you, bro. Let's see. Yeah, watching out the shorts before the dump tomorrow. Potentially. That is historically what we see happen. Let's see. Wow. Okay. Yeah, poll is interesting. More everything makes a lot of sense. Okay, so more everything and okay. Add short AM live stream. All right. Interesting. All right. There we go. The Mafia has spoken. But let's go ahead and continue on. I'll take some more looks. Shout out to Bubba's Crypto. What is going on? Welcome in. But let's go ahead and move on with our let's go ahead and move on with some altcoins. Let's take a look at Sui or Sui. Let me go ahead and drink this coffee. Black coffee. I forgot it was still hot in here. Oh, my God. I highly recommend this Ember mug. I cannot believe this thing works so well. Okay, let's see. Bada boom, bada bing. Take a look at Coinbase. Sui. Daily looking for a red dot. Money flow in the green, though. Money flow also coming up locally as you're getting the pump here. 3-day, higher time frames, money flow crossover in the green on the weekly. That doesn't look bad. Like, money flow on the higher time frames for Sui doesn't actually look that bad, to be quite honest, right? Daily red dot looking to print. So unless we see this just kind of wiggle sideways and continue to kind of creep sideways, could potentially continue to see the... Let's see. 3 hour. Yeah, starting to get some bear divs here on the lower time frames. But again, money flow is not like super dumping, which is nice. So something I would look for, potentially, if you do get the pullback, I would potentially look at something like this. Whoops. Come on. I would potentially look for something like this. Value area high. POC. Value area low. Bada boom. So yeah, something like this. If you do get a continued pullback, I would look for that to maybe bring you back down to the value area low, lose that value area, come back down to the low. And then you could potentially look for that to get respected. Kind of hard to call the long term here, to be honest. Like, if you do come down here, I mean, you do have the divs, right? You have the higher highs on your price action, lower highs on your momentum waves. Bada boom, right? That could give you the continuation down. 4 hour bear divs also looking to print here. 8 hour. See, 10 hour. Yeah, kind of hard to call here. I wouldn't really be interested in a trade right now on this, but these would be levels I would be looking at to the downside. And actually, those levels would remain like valid, but I would probably favor looking at the this larger profile. right? So these are the levels I would look at on SUI, right? This kind of whole zone would be support. Once you start losing that golden pocket, I would look down towards the 786 value area low. Pull that on down here. And this could be key, right? So I'll actually label this key. So yeah, we'll see what happens there. But those are kind of the key levels that I would look at. Not really anything screaming at me. I think you probably will pull back into some of these zones. But longer term, hard to say if these levels will hold or if you're just going to come in to some of these lower levels, which, to be quite honest, yeah, like the POC at 83 cents would be pretty important, right? So that's pretty local stuff there. So if you do come back down, this would kind of be the higher time frame context. Right, value area high, sitting at $1, and then your POC at 83 cents, value area low at 76 cents. But yeah, I would probably, to be quite honest, like if I got rid of all this, I'd probably be looking at this as more something like this, right? Bearish divergences, if you can get them above that high, once you get stuck in this value area low, I would look for the bigger drop down. That's what I would kind of look at this as confluence, right? If you're scalping, you would want to take a look at these smaller ranges. But for the most part, I'd probably pay more attention to these key levels, right? If you get the bearish confirmations here, like deviations above the high, yeah, you did SFP these highs as well. Ooh, baby, I don't know. Above equal highs, liquidity resides, right? We could try to pull this up on the heat maps. Let's pull this up for SUI. Can we pull up SUI on this? Did we take any significant liquidity? Yeah, it is hard to see on these smaller coins sometimes. Let's take a look at the 12-hour. It's not. We're not going to be able to see it, unfortunately. Yeah, it's harder to see on these smaller coins because there's not as many exchanges. Let's check the 6-month. Yeah, okay, so yeah, we did have some liquidity up here. I mean, I would be careful, though, because you could come and take some more of this. But you did take a significant amount of that hot yellow box. I wouldn't be surprised if you continue to pull back there on SUI. So there you go. SFP. Whew, I don't know. Let's see there. Yeah, we'll have to watch it. Let's see. Shout out to Minaj. Minaj says, bing bong. Shout out to you, bro. Liquidity at 126. Yeah, so I would be careful because you could continue to ride that up. Shout out to Crypto Owl. What is going on, man? Yeah, we did it at 111. Yeah, 126. I would definitely watch that. Yeah, shout out to Crypto Owl. Literally, look at the same thing here. So yeah, 126, right up there. All right, let's see. Should I trade Render and Sui? What should I do? Oh, baby, I don't know. Let's see. Frankie, like a chit. What is a chit? Do I have to Google this? Am I a boomer? What is a chit? I don't know what a chit is. Hopefully I'm not saying a bad word on stream here. Let's see. Should we worry about the pump into the event? I'm being very cautious. Right? Obviously, I'm long, but I am being cautious. I would, yeah. I don't know. We look at those historical, rate cuts. I mean, I don't know. Like this is this isn't my opinion, right? This is just doing some investigative TA here. This is not the one I wanted. Fed rate. Historical dates. No. Where's the one I want? Rate indicator. Interest rates. I'm going to favor the one that I want. Overnight. I think that's the one. Is it? No. Come on. Give me the dang indicator. Huh. Well, either way, we know we got one on March 3rd, right? So I'll just pull that up. Right? March 3rd, and this is likely the case, right? This is the case that happens every time. Right? Where is it? Right? March 3rd, we pumped and dumped. And again, this is 2020. It's a little bit harder to say, right? I think this was another one, October 19th, I think it was. Right? Like pumped and then dumped and then pumped and then dumped. It's not always just like instant up and to the right continuously. So I would be careful. I don't know. It's hard to say. We could just rip up. I don't know. It's very hard to say. But again, I'll leave you guys with this because I do have a doctor's appointment in a few minutes. I will say this. I will leave you guys with this. I wish I could have looked at some more altcoins, but we are running out of time. I actually just realized I have a doctor's appointment, so I do have to kind of run out. But I will just say this, guys. We are at key resistance, right? We got the rally up. And the most important levels to be aware of tomorrow, and we'll talk about this later on tonight's live stream as well. 62,350 is the next major level of resistance. If we break above that, we can potentially look for a move up to the $67,000 level. That is your next level. 63,250, $67,000, as well as let me pull some of these up. This is another major level of resistance. And let me pull up the... Right, this level between $64,000 and $65,000 remains key. We have a daily level, a monthly level, a daily naked point of control, and a weekly. Did I say weekly? We have a lot of resistance up here. So again, key levels of resistance are 62,350 at the 786, right? If we continue up here, maybe we come down, test the value area low, continue up. 62,350 is the next key level. Break above that, we could potentially look out to 64 to 65K. We break above that, $67,000 is the next stop. Those are the levels you need on your chart. Nice and simply. And with all that being said, guys, thanks for hanging out with us here on this random live stream. We'll have to see if this long continues to play out, or if we can get the pullback here. May take a stab at a short here based off that SFP, but again, I would like to see that order flow shape up a little bit better. So with all that being said, thank you guys for being here. No Frankie fakeouts on the morning streams. I'll see you. And again, I don't know when we'll do this again, but we're gonna try to change some things up here, make some adjustments to the content, give you guys some new stuff. And yeah, with all that being said, I'll see you guys next time. Tonight, 5:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I got to go to the doctor. I hope they don't put rubber gloves on. Anyway, I'll see you guys later at 5:45. That's all I got. I love each and every single one of you. Hasta pasta. Frankie Candles out. Bing bong.
Here we go. At the top of the class on a roll. And it's time to run it up, yeah, you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Ayy, on the road, here we go. Yeah, we winning by a landslide. Never see me coming on my landmine. Yeah, I ain't taking orders in command like. Yeah, you about to see me on demand like. You know on demand. If you ain't know, you about to understand. Yeah, I got the team by my side, right hand. Yeah, take it to a string, you ain't seen it like that. Yeah, and it's the dream, and we coming for the bag. Yeah, and we ain't never going back now. Future expedited, now we on the fast track now. They won't lend a hand, now they see us on the map now. It's time to act out. Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll. And it's time to run it up, yeah, you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Hey, on the road, here we go, yeah. At the top of the class on a roll. Hey, and it's time to run it up, yeah, you know, yeah. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Yeah, on the road, here we go, here we go. Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll. And it's time to run it up, yeah, you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Hey, on the road, here we go, yeah. At the top of the class on a roll. Hey, and it's time to run it up, yeah, you know, yeah. Maxed out,